Alright, here's the latest project. Got the Excursion into the shed, and it's time, way overdue time, for this particular project. Tonight's going to be mostly just staging and getting ready, but I've had enough of the handling on this vehicle. About 220,000 miles on it, and the suspension is just tired, and I've had it. This vehicle's exhibiting all the symptoms that the people who have Excursions will tell you about after a while. That you know, the wallowing and the axle steer that you get out of it. Towing a trailer with this right now, trailers that I've towed for years without issues seem to suddenly push this around. So I'm going to be doing an X code modified B code conversion. And I've already been over to ATS Springs. You can see I've got my nice new F250 springs. I've got my adjustable track bar, all my hardware. To do this job, you need high lift jack stands. So since I'm not paying somebody else to do this, I went ahead and I sprung for a 300 foot-pound torque wrench, which is in the case. And I haven't even put these together yet, but I bought some high lift stands. I measured the frame to the ground. That was 17 inches, and these are minimum height 28. So I'm hoping I can get this up by 11 inches on the frame. I should be able to. So that's tonight's chore. Get this thing ready. I think what I'll do is I'll take a couple of measurements. Everybody suggests you measure from the wheel to the top of the wheel well, both front and rear, and get some measurements. I don't really know why, but that's what they say to do. But I'll do that. I guess that'll be a good benchmark in case when I put things together, if there's some discrepancy one side to another, I'll know whether that's new or whether it was already there. So I'll check those in a minute. Alright, here we go on our measurements. So passenger front, 7 inches. I'm sorry, that was driver front. Driver rear, let's call that 8.5. So I got 8.5, 7, and then 8.5 on the driver's side. That we got over here. I'd call that close enough. Also call it 8.5. I call this one 7 1/4. Maybe I wasn't lined up on the other side. That looks like 7 1/4 to this side. Huh. Hanging down a little bit on the passenger there. I'm going to check this again. Yeah, there's definitely a quarter inch lower on the driver's side. Maybe the spring is sagging a little bit. Not much question. This side's a quarter inch lower. Anyway, there's the measurements, and I'm going to finish assembling these, and I'm going to jack this up and cross my fingers and hope that my jack will get this high enough, or I've got more work to do. My video stopped a minute ago, and I don't know how much of that I got. Like what I started saying was, you know, this is the bolt in question. Everybody says you got to move AC lines for. I guess it's to get clearance to get that bolt out. Doesn't look that bad. Like I said earlier, you can see on the axle wrap, I'm right up on the spring quite frequently there. Like I said, I think the suspension's just tired. Hellwig I put on helped a lot, but you can see I already had it as tight as it went, and anymore it just wasn't enough. Time for a new suspension. Here's why your dog legs in the back of an Excursion go. It's this spot right here. This is where the salt gets caked in there and needs a hole through, and eventually it does that to it. That's another project for another day that I'm going to tackle. Not on this project. I gotta get this done So I'll get the suspension out of here. All right, so I'm going to start. I just wanted to take a look under here, see what I was getting into. I'm going to begin soaking everything, getting this axle ready to come off, and get ready to do my. I guess in the backs we'll say that this is going to be the B modified, because I'm going to do the modified process back here and take the bottom leaf off here and put it on the new springs. So I'll do that following a lot of procedures that are already on the internet. You know, it's certainly didn't invent that, but I'm gonna go ahead and follow that procedure. Okay, on to the next. All right. I got the top plate off. I'll get this side off here in a minute, but I got the passenger side top plate off. I don't like the condition of this at all. You can see it got really thin here on one side. In fact, there's a little bit of a hole. So I'm going through all this trouble. I'm going to go ahead and put a new top plate on. These bolts really didn't give me any trouble. They're in really good shape, but I sure don't like the way that top plate looks. So I don't think they gave me new ones either. That's one thing I don't think they gave me. You got new hangers, new U-bolts, new bolts, longer spring bolts for when I do the V mod, but they didn't give me any top plates. So I'm gonna check with the auto parts store before I put this back together. This one actually looks good, but that one I didn't like the way that looked. So if I'm going to this much trouble, no reason to put a piece of crap back in it. So I'll get new top plates for the springs. Okay, time to move over and repeat my process on the other side. It's a little more light. Maybe I'll try and video that. I don't know if I can do that and be kind of interesting if it actually worked, where I could take a one-handed breaker bar here on these U-bolts and actually get that to come off. I don't know. Let's see if I can do it one-handed with the camera. I don't know. We'll see. So start with my breaker bar. Put this down for a second. Get this rigged up. See how we do. Alright, I got it on there. It's been soaking on TV a little bit. So I got my bar on here. See where we go. No problem. So I got 3 more of those to do, and then I'll get the big wrench on them, take them right off. But again, everybody's saying you got to heat everything and do everything else, at least not for the U-bolts anyway. Hopefully that's not the case for the spring hangers. But if it is, I'll repeat the same process with the pipe and the long bar, and we'll get them off. They don't look too bad. So one thing at a time. All right, I can't quite do the rest of this one-handed, so just wanted to show you what I did to break those, and it really that wasn't very hard. Oops. All right, I got the other side off. This side's on yet. Cut the U-bolts off. The spacer block's actually rusted to the springs on this side. I don't know if I get to knock it off of there or not. I guess I'll have to hit that with a hammer, get it off. But the axle's out. It's down on the jack stands. Wasn't too hard. So tomorrow I'll take out the bolts front and rear. We'll see how much you really have to bend those AC lines. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Do that, and then we will, of course, do the B mod. I'll look it up on the internet again. I've looked it up a million times, but I'll do it again. Make sure I got this procedure right. We'll disassemble the springs. I got the new spring hangers. We'll modify our B's back here, get everything assembled, and then we'll worry about the X's up front. I'm gonna go look around for these. This one's okay. The other one I don't really want to reuse. Hopefully I can get them at the auto parts store. Otherwise, I'm off to ATS. I'm kind of lucky on a couple things where I live. These guys are about 45 minutes away from me, so I can always run to their shop and get some parts. I don't have to worry about freight. Kind of lucky that way. I have Eastwood in my backyard too, so I can go run over to their store whenever I need bodywork parts. So that's always good. So I think that was pretty good progress tonight. I'd say that took me, and I was taking my time. What is it, about 9:30 now? I'd say it took me about an hour and a half to get the truck jacked up, get the wheels off, get the shocks off, take all 4 of the U-bolts off, and I soaked them, and I soaked everything up front too, and getting ready for that piece of it. About an hour and a half. I've never swapped out. I've done on trailers a lot, but I've never done it on a vehicle. The book says for the guys that know what they're doing with lift and the rate equipment, they can do, it's 3 hours per axle, and an hour and a half out. Probably another hour for me to get these out and do the beam mod, and probably good 2 hours to do that. I'm going to guess I'm going to be closer to probably 5 hours. I bet I'll be around 5 hours till I get the rear done. A couple hours longer than booked, but then I don't really have a lift, and I got to get up and down, and so we'll see. I don't know how long it'll take me to do the beam mod. I have, theoretically, it's only 2 bolts on each side, and I got these springs out, but you know how those kinds of things go. So they're going to soak in PB overnight, and we'll see how we are in the morning. If I'm really lucky, it's just a couple of bolts coming out, and then on to beam mod and reassembly. That would be unusually nice, but we'll see how that goes.